Raleigh, Calexico, Central, and Imperial should be the main opportunity areas. So there, next page just has just a small version of what that map looks like. And this really, it goes then to if the group here and if IVAC and such feel that that map is what it should be, then that'll go to SCAG and it really affects their land use decisions, and it sets the stage for Imperial Valley to start trying to, whether it be going for grants or going for transportation support, it really kind of sets the stage for that. So moving on to the program itself, the implementation program. The first strategy is just, I put in here effective regional coordination. And I know that there is coordination already in place. This group is a great example of that. But I have that there because I think that in order to respond to some of the things that we identified as key issues, there needs to be a look at those specific issues from a regional perspective. And as I said, some of that may already be in place, but we felt that that was a targeted effort towards some of those things was important. And just really quickly, the memo that I passed out has just a little bit more detail describing each of the strategies. So if you want to refer to that, please do. And then strategy number 2 and 3, what sort of the overall picture in terms of trying to create a feasible approach to making implementation actually happen is just sort of a 3-pronged approach. One is trying to create the regional coordination and therefore regional consensus towards these things, and regional movement, kind of trying to get everyone behind it. The second is looking at how to create the good rules. So whether it be your general plans and such, really creating the policies to then move towards the development regulations, development requirements, ordinances and such that are the specific implementation actions of those policies. So the 3-pronged approach is sort of the regional coordination, creating the policy, which provides not just the it provides the legal basis for creating those ordinances too. So this is just an approach to how to put those things in place. So under the rules, it just includes looking at your general plans and looking at your land use map and looking at trying to develop and incorporate more compass-oriented policies. So whether that's incorporating a policy to try and promote compact development, whether it's trying to promote more pedestrian-oriented growth, whether it's trying to promote non-motorized transit. There's just a lot of goals and policies that can be incorporated into your plan. And then from that, the next step would be looking at zoning and other ordinances and seeing where they can be updated to then tear off of the policies that hopefully you put in place and what can be put into those, and also what kind of development styles and what kind of design requirements can start being put into those ordinances to actually make that compact development and compass-oriented development take place. So the last strategy is really like I said, the implementation of the general plan, the policy end of things, and looking at exactly how to, exactly what kind of design requirements and such can be put in place. One tool is changing the traditional zoning code to a form-based code, and that really, rather than looking at regulating the place and the type of use in a specific place, it changes the focus from the type of use to the type of building. And it starts looking at really prescribing what the buildings look like. And from there, you get a much more predictable type of development. And just to kind of back up, traditional zoning also, because it regulates use, it doesn't necessarily predict what that use is going to look like. So if you prescribe just one tool to be able to better predict what that design and that development looks like, so that you start getting potentially development in your downtown areas and such that are more in line with what you actually are wanting to see. And the last one is looking at current development project applications that you have in progress right now. They may be somewhat limited right now, but as they come through, looking at those and really trying to evaluate those against the guiding principles, and then also against the goals and policies and against the zoning regulations and the development requirements that you started to put in place. So, just the last one under urban design is the other possible strategies to look at incentives to promote compass-oriented development. Other jurisdictions have looked at whether it be expedited project processing or reduced fees in certain things if they provide certain amenities, and if the development, if they're willing to make accommodations and such and incorporate certain things into their development. Cities have taken a look at what they can do to incentivize that to happen. And then the memo has a list of some of those things. And then the next part of the implementation program, Younger Strategies, is just looking at actual steps that can be pursued to try and respond to those strategies. And I'm just going to go through them really quickly. And just beyond the implementation program, let me just step back a minute also. The purpose of today and showing you the program is to get your input. And then from this, we're going to actually make a workbook that incorporates this material, has more compass blueprint background and explanation of what the different guiding principles mean. And then it also will have, say, where I suggested looking at your general plans, it'll have sample goals or policies that you can incorporate. Where I said take a look at your different ordinances and see where you can start to incorporate this. It'll have examples of different codes that have been prepared that potentially you could try and model. So it'll be, it'll hopefully be like a roadmap and actually a tool that your staff, your decision makers can look at to really make it happen. Rather than sort of trying to generate some of those things on your own, hopefully they'll give you the ideas that you need to make it happen. So just this next step, our thought for the regional coordination was to apply for another Compass Blueprint project to provide the funds to create an actual action plan for looking at the developer requirements, looking at aligning and coordinating the transportation and infrastructure planning, and the suggestion here is to try and create a funding mechanism to really support that effort.
And just with that, I know the City of Calexico did apply for a demonstration project, and it did receive funding. I believe it should be receiving that grant within the next month or so. It's not already received. Previously, I know the City of Central was working on their downtown, but Calexico received funding for their downtown corridor of Bend Street, just the whole picture, I believe, of what downtown will look like within the next 5 to 10 years. So that one's a very interesting. I know the whole was submitted, but I believe last time we spoke to GAG, it was not funded.
Was the second South Central grant funded or not?
No. That was my understanding. However, things may have changed between then and now. You might want to double check.
Well, before we do
Yeah.
that one, is there a schedule for the cities to respond to, or IDAC to respond to? It says fall 2008, but I'm assuming that the local agencies are applying for this?
Right. GAG sets out schedules, and they notify the subregion, meaning IVAG, and then IVAG in turn let the cities know. And the last time we heard of an open call for project was